Gauranga Paramahamsa Pri Vrajgacharya Stotra Satya Sri Sima, His Divine Grace, Shirabai Charanargan Bhaktivedanta Swami, Sri Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, ISKCON Devotee, Founder Acharya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Harinam Sankirtana Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Jayata Gaura Ki, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurindaritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Gadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Gita Paramahanam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Srivikam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vikantam Sadivam
Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanitam Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tanubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Ram Chaiva Naram Deva Narottamam Devam Dodayam writing the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Tamashloke
Bhakti Uttama Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki
Bhakti Bhati Naistaki.
By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, and becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Puranam
Brahma Samhitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Nishreyasaya Lokasya
Vishreyasaya Lokasya
Dhanyam Swasya Namaha
Dhanyam Swasya Namaha.
The Srila Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Surabhyaya Namaha,
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyaya Namaha,
Om Surabhyai Namaha.
Om Surabhyaya Namaha, Vatam Nam Gayate
Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Tirtharanam. Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Tirtharanam.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class, especially those feeling better now. So we continue to read from first canto, the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 3, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And for those who attended yesterday's class, we were reading text number 24, which had a long purport, the incarnation of Lord Buddha. So we will continue this particular verse, and we will again recite the verse. Tataha kalo sampravite samohaya sura dvesham buddho namnam sutaha kikateshu bhavishyati tata kalo sampravite
Samohaya Suradvisham. Buddho Namnam Jana Sutaha.
Ekateshu bhavishyati tata kalo sampravritte mohaya suradvisham buddho namnam jana sutaha ekateshu bhavishyati tata kalo sampravritte mohaya suradvisham buddho namnam jana sutaha ekateshu bhavishyati
तथा कलो संप्रवृत्ते सम्मोहाय सुरद्विषाम् बुद्धो नाम्नाञ्जनसुतः विकटेषु भविष्यति
ततः कलौ संप्रवृत्ते सम्मोहाय सुरद्विषाम् बुद्धो नाम्नाञ्जनसुतः कीकटेषु भविष्यति
ततः कालो सम्मोहाय सुरद्विषाम् बुद्धो नाम्नाञ्जनसुतः कीकटेषु भविष्यति
Thereafter, Kalo,
the age of Kali,
the age of Kali,
sampravrite,
Sampravrite,
having ensued,
having ensued,
samohaya,
Samohaya,
for the purpose of deluding,
for the purpose of deluding
sura,
Sura,
the theists,
the thieves,
dvisham,
Visham,
those who are envious,
those who are envious,
buddhaha,
Buddha,
Lord Buddha,
Lord Buddha,
namna,
Namna
of the name,
of the name,
Anjana Sutaha,
Anjana Sutaha,
whose mother
whose mother
was Anjana,
was
Anjana,
Anjana,
Kikateshu,
Ekadeshu,
in the province of Gaya,
in the province of Gaya,
Bihar,
Bihar,
Bhavishyati
Bhavishyati
will take place.
will
take
take place.
place.
No Gurukul dress this one. Forgot that. Huh?
Dry that one, both of them.
Not dry. Rainy season. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theists. Can you repeat after me? Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga,
Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga,
the Lord will appear
the Lord will appear
as Lord Buddha,
as Lord Buddha,
the son of
the
Anjana,
son of Anjana,
in the province of Gaya,
in the
The
province of Gaya,
just for the purpose
just for the purpose
of deluding
of
those
deluding those
who are envious
who are envious
of the faithful theists.
of the faithful theists.
What is a theist? What is an atheist? An atheist is the opposite of a theist. Theist means one who believes in God. And atheist, one who does not believe in God. Yeah. Just like dharma and adharma. Dharma, one who follows, adharma, one who does not follow. What is the Sanskrit word for atheist? That's what we continue. Let's see. One, two. Buddha's philosophy is called atheistic because the system, the authority of the Vedas. How many reasons are given? For philosophy. One is because it is atheistic. Means it doesn't believe in God. And also, second reason,
Animal too much killing people.
Animal kingdom.
Animals also too much killing people that time.
no, the other reason mentioned here, of course, that is a reason because of animal killing, but because he rejected the Vedas.
Yeah, correct. Sarvamatra Sudhavati karma.
Because he rejected the Vedas and because he rejected also the belief in the Supreme Lord, the belief in God. The Buddhists don't believe in God, they believe in what is called nirvana. Nirvana means zero. We become zero. Means what is the cause of our suffering? because we have desires. So the goal of Buddhism is to stop all desire. But actually, it is not possible to stop. It is artificial, not possible, because by nature, the understanding is that, as we can all experience, the living entity by nature has desire, so many desires. So the Krishna conscious philosophy is that there are two types of desire, material desire and spiritual desire. So we have to transform or dovetail our material desires to spiritual desires. So these are two main reasons why Buddhism is not accepted, because Lord Buddha rejected the Vedas and rejected, the concept of Supreme God. Prabhupada continues here, but that is an act of camouflage by the Lord. Camouflage. What is camouflage?
Temporary.
Huh?
Temporary, no? Temporary.
Temporary. Camouflage does not mean temporary. Camouflage means to hide. Camouflage. Hide.
I mean focus.
To hide. That means, or to trick. Prabhupada will explain here. Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Godhead. As such, he is the original propounder of Vedic knowledge. Lord Buddha, if he's an incarnation of God, he's supposed to preach about the Vedas. Because Vedas come from him, from God. So, he therefore cannot reject Vedic philosophy. But he rejected it outwardly, because the Sura Dvisa, the Sura Dvisha, or the demons, who are always envious of the devotees of Godhead, try to support cow killing or animal killing from the pages of the Vedas. And this is now being done by the modernized sannyasis. Yeah, Prabhupada mentioned that also in the report yesterday. So, because the Brahmanas at that time were misrepresenting the Vedas, they were justifying the killing of animals by referring to the Vedas, which allows for restricted, we explained a little bit yesterday, restricted killing of animals, and because it is restricted, it means it's not encouraged. But they gave their own interpretation, so therefore, because they were misrepresenting the Vedas, Lord Buddha outwardly, as Prabhupada mentions here, rejected the Vedas. Lord Buddha had to reject the authority of the Vedas altogether. This is simply technical, and had it not been so, he would not have been so accepted as the incarnation of God. Nor would he have nor would he have been worshipped in the transcendental songs of the poet Jayadev, who is a Vaishnava Acharya. Actually, the teachings of Lord Buddha, beginning with ahimsa, also has many, that was mentioned previously as well, so many moral instructions. Actually, when one goes to, Buddhist people are actually very nice, in the sense that they are very
very respectful of one another. They follow tradition. They're very respectful, for example, of elders. Just like in India, Vedic culture teaches one why we should be respectful of elders. Elders means like parents and grandfathers and
Master.
senior people. Why we should be respecting these people?
They are bigger ones.
Hmm?
They are bigger ones.
Because?
They are big.
Because they're big.
And
Well, that elephant is big also. Big means they are, uh, you have to be more specific. Big means that they have a lot of experience. Somebody who's only 10 years old or 12 years old and not listening in Bhagavatam class has much less experience. So nowadays they actually, if somebody has not gone to school for a long time, they consider one's life experience as credits. You can get some good credits for your life experience, and they can accept you for taking up some studies. So life experience is, that's why those who take what is called retired life, after householder life, what is that called? Vanaprastha. Yeah. So Vanaprastha means people who are at least 50 years. Of course, Vanaprastha is still, although we have many, many devotees who are 50 and above, first generation, Prabhupada disciples, still Vanaprastha was, in the very beginning of our movement, totally alien, totally unknown to us. You know, the only elderly person was Prabhupada. Everybody else was like below 30. And many devotees were under 20 when they became devotees. I mean, I know many devotees who were like 15, 16, 17. They gave up everything, completely surrendered to Prabhupada at a very young age. So we don't have that experience. I mean, within, it's not built in, at least from the beginning of our movement. The stage of, or level, or period of Vanaprastha was not there. And therefore, our first generation were not having that kind of, we could say, model. There was no model of older people within our society. So that was a bit of a drawback in some ways. So older people should be respected because they are having a lot of life experience, and also because generally they also have knowledge, isn't it? They have knowledge which is different, a different type of life experience is different, let's say, from actual knowledge. And therefore in the Vedic culture, those who are elderly, at least some of them, they can become good teachers. They can become teachers in Gurukul. So we need to find some Vanaprastha people to teach in our Gurukul. That was quite common. So in countries where Buddhism is practiced, they have
many very good habits because they were moral. Lord Buddha gave many moral instructions. As we are seeing here, he had to reject the Vedas, but he tricked everyone. He rejected the Vedas, but what he taught was all from the Vedas. I reject the Vedas, but you be non-violent. You respect your father and mother, like that. And we see even now, I saw personally when I was in Cambodia. One day you should try to visit Cambodia because in Cambodia, what is special about Cambodia? Where is Cambodia anyways? You know? Cambodia. Hmm? In America. No. Where is Cambodia? What is a country close to Cambodia?
Indonesia.
Huh?
Indonesia.
Indonesia is close. But what country is touching? What country is touching?
China.
Not China. There is Thailand, is touching Vietnam, Laos. China is very close. China might be touching also, actually. So, so they have a very ancient culture. Their culture is, of course,
Thailand.
because Buddhism is connected with Vedic culture. Buddhism is connected with Vedic culture. So the people of Cambodia, the young boys, even younger than both of you, from the age of 5, 6, you can see small boys dressed in
Sannyas.
sannyas dress. They have their dress is like maroon, not saffron. They have their own dress, you might have seen. And it's a very wonderful scene. And every day, one can see this, every day, either alone or sometimes in a large group of 10, 15, even 20. You can see them walking in a straight line, beginning with the tallest one, then, coming down. And they all have the same dress, and under their cloth, they have a big pot, a big container. So what they do is they go from door to door, shop to shop. They stand in front, they take this big container, and they just stand and recite some mantra, some prayers. And they'll stay there for 2, 3 minutes. And because it is part of the culture, people will come and they will do something. And they will go. And they all have what is very unique also. They all have umbrella. Everyone. If you're a monk, you have to have an umbrella. Because just like here in India in some places, either because there is rain, what is the other reason to have an umbrella?
Sunlight.
Sun, yeah, because it's very sunny. So Cambodia is quite hot, actually. They also have rainy season. So this is like a daily must activity. It is like mandatory. It's like mandatory to attend Mangalarti, but in ISKCON not everybody attends. But there it is mandatory to go out every day, and everyone, those who are brahmacharis, they are brahmacharis. They have a system that everyone, when they are young, in any Buddhist family, they must join the Buddhist temple, at least for a few days. So that is, it's like the tradition.
which is very nice. And at the Buddhist temple, they will learn so many things like that. So this is a special feature of Buddhism. Buddhism is not teaching about God and not teaching officially, let's say, rejecting the Vedas, but as Prabhupada is explaining, this was done because there was misuse of the Vedas at that time. But the actual teachings of Lord Buddha are, are taken from the Vedas. We'll just continue here. Lord Buddha preached the preliminary principles of the Vedas in a manner, and so also did Therefore, became rejected, but temporarily rejected, and then to gradually Buddhist temple there, being non-violent, because there's so much killing. There's millions, if not billions of animals and different and birds. So this is, so much suffering is involved. What are the four pillars of dharma? What are the pillars? Just like we have, this is a pillar. Pillars, the roof would fall on our head. Being eternally existing. So in other words, we should not only be concerned about the physical unhappiness of people or the suffering, material suffering of people, but we should know that actually is due to standing, that we are interested about at the end. Will appear in Gaya. Is explaining here, such is the authority. Such is authority. There are many prophecies. They are being fulfilled one after another. They will indicate the positive trace of mistake, illusion, cheating, and unconditioned souls. And the last sentence of this clause, therefore they can see and foretell things which are to take place. Thus ends the purport of this verse. But does not end the chapter, although we're getting close to the end. Actually, there are still, still quite a few actually. Yeah. It goes up to 44, or halfway through, more or less. Any questions or comments? So, telling that they both appeared in north.
They're asking, coming here in south. Everyone is appearing in the only. No one is appearing here.
All the great acharyas appeared in south. All the good acharyas have been in South.
They connected number one. The Lord is coming there and devotee is coming here. They're going there. They're doing bhajan there only.
But the Lord appears in many, not only in the north, in many different places also.
Shankaracharya is also coming. Buddha, Lord Buddha is saying no Veda.
Yeah,
But Shankaracharya is coming, Veda is there.
yes.
बताया नहीं तो भगवान है बोल के नहीं बताया भगवान के रूप के बारे में शंकराचार्य बोला पूछिए क्यों नहीं रहते हैं
He's asking why Shankaracharya did not preach the personal form of Lord, about the personal form.
So the question is, why did Sripad Shankaracharya did not preach the personal form of God?
Yeah.
That's part of a large plan to gradually introduce. First, people had to accept the Vedas. So he it is explained that Shankaracharya, because at that time Buddhism was very prominent all over India, and therefore it means that one of the primary teachings of Buddhism was, as we have read, not accepting the Vedas. Re-establish the authority of the Vedas. And then gradually other aspects, more confidential aspects, the aspect of Godhead is a very confidential aspect of the Vedic teaching. And so the first people had to accept the authority of the Vedas, and that is why Shankaracharya chose to introduce first the authority of the Vedas, and then gradually through other. Because in Kali Yuga, as we hear from Bhagavatam, people are very slow. So you cannot, you have to go slowly to introduce the knowledge and understanding. Otherwise people cannot digest it easily.
one devotee telling this it's all planned means Buddha came after Shankaracharya came after Madhvacharya came and after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came.
Yeah, it
So
is
it's
all
full
planned.
planned.
Yes.
Yes.
Just like all the teachings of our Vaishnavacharyas were gradually leading us to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which, as we were discussing a few days back, is a culmination of all of the teachings of our Vaishnava Acharyas and meant to bring in the golden age, the Satya Yuga, which will be lasting for 10,000 years. So yeah, that is how we understand the unfolding plan of the Lord. Okay, we will close here. Jai Bhakti Bhagavatam Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande.
Very cool.